And welcome back. We have a Mazda cx5 with a 2.5 liter engine, and we're going to go ahead and get the oil change today. As you can see, I have a set of ramps, and I'm just going to go ahead and use these because they're much faster to use. But if you are using just a regular floor jack and jack stands, you want to be careful where you lift your car up from. As you can see, I have it right here on the subframe. It's a very safe and secure place to lift up your vehicle from. One thing to keep in mind is that this vehicle has a lot of plastic underneath it, so you can't just go ahead and place your floor jack or jack stands anywhere you want. As you can see, I'm tapping on the plastic here, and all of this is plastic, so just be mindful of that. But if you come to the left over here, you can see right at the very edge, this is actually metal, and that's the subframe, so that would be a safe place. And again, on the right side, if you go all the way to the edge over here, here goes the plastic, and right at the edge is the metal, and those are the places where you want to put your jack stands. And of course, safety first. So once your car is secure on jack stands, you want to chalk off the rear wheels. You definitely don't want the car rolling on you. You could use a piece of wood, a brick, or obviously wheel chocks. It's also not a bad idea to get inside the vehicle and enable the emergency brake. Now the next step is to remove this service cover, which is closest to the passenger wheel, and we have 3 fasteners holding it down. 2 of them we're going to use our ratchet, and the other one I'm going to have a small prying tool, which is right here. You could also just use a flathead screwdriver to remove this. Now it's time to get the oil pan into place. We're going to remove the oil drain bolt first, and then we're going to remove the filter. Now while this is draining out, we're going to go ahead and clean up the drain bolt. As you can see, it has a washer on it. Now this washer is supposed to be a replaceable item. It is recommended to be replaced every time you do an oil change. In this case, we're going to go ahead and clean it up because I do not have a replacement. Okay, so now that the oil coming out of the pan has come down to a slow drip, you are okay to put the drain bolt back on it, and we're actually going to go ahead and torque this down. And the reason for that is if you over torque this, there's a chance you can damage the threads on your oil pan. If you do that, you're going to be opening up a can of worms, and nobody wants that. And now it's time to remove the oil filter. If you're weak like I am and you have Mickey Mouse hands, you're probably gonna need a tool. So I have an oil filter wrench here. This one actually works pretty good. I could get to it pretty easily, and it works great for this situation. And now's the time to get your oil pan ready once again, because oil is going to drop right out of here. Now here's something I was going to mention to you because I did not think it would happen to me, but it actually did. So as you can see, the gasket for the oil filter is actually still attached to the vehicle. Normally it should come off with the filter. Now it's really something you want to keep in mind, because if you left that gasket up there and you go install your new oil filter with all your new oil inside of the engine, the second you turn your car on, all that oil is just gonna spray right out. It'll be all over the ground. Don't ask me how I know that. Let's just say I had a bad experience. And now it's time to add oil into the new filter. You don't have to completely top it off. You just want to get some of it in there. And as you can see, I did put some oil on the new O-ring of the filter, and it's just basically to help it install a little bit easier. As you can see, I'm not using any tools to install the filter. You just want to get it as tight as you can using your hand, and that should be good enough. You only want to use a tool to remove a filter. Okay, so now it's time to add the oil, and I believe the 2.5 liter actually asked for about 4.5 quarts of oil. Here I have 5 quarts, and I ended up pouring all of it into the engine, and the dipstick still did not read that it was full. it was just a little bit under, so maybe it could have used another half a quart, but I didn't add it because it's perfectly fine the way it is. But that's something to keep in mind when you're doing your oil change. Just keep checking your dipstick and see where that 4.5 or 5 quarts to get you. If you think it needs a little bit more oil, just go ahead and top it off, but definitely do not go past the full mark. And now we can go ahead and start up the engine, and now we're just going to go right back underneath the car and look at everything. We want to make sure that the oil filter and the drain bolt is not leaking any oil at all. Once everything looks nice and clean, you can go ahead and reinstall the service cover. And now it's time to reset the oil change interval. So we're going to go into applications over here. We're going to choose maintenance, then oil change, and you can see this one is turned off, so I'm just going to turn it on. I did talk to the customer and everything is okay with that, so I'm going to choose fixed. And as you can see, we're already at 5,000 miles, so I'm going to leave it there because we are using full synthetic oil. So at this point you would just hit reset, and that's it. The oil change interval is now reset, so now we can just completely back out of here. And now it's time for cleanup. So we're going to grab the container that the new oil came in, and we're going to use it to pour the old used up oil inside of. And once it's completely filled, we're just going to cap it off and take it to our local auto parts store, because they do recycle this stuff and they don't charge you anything, so that's nice. And that's pretty much it for getting the oil change on a Mazda cx5. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're considering subscribing, don't forget to hit that notification bell. And like always, thanks for watching.